Hey guys, what's good? Shimei man, Coach Richie Rich. Hope you guys have had a good day. Sorry this is a late one, but better late than never. Again, another amazing Zoom call. Bit glitchy due to technical difficulties, but other than that, a really great Zoom call. So I'm going to share a bit about what we talked about. So talked about comparison and who do we compare ourselves to and why. A lot of us compare ourselves to people on social media, movie stars, singers, motivational speakers, and we compare ourselves wishing we were there or we had their lifestyle or we had what they had. Or we see people in companies that we work in and they're a lot younger than us and they're in a higher position, and you look at yourself now at, I don't know, late to mid 30s, mid to late 30s, and this person's jumped leaped forward to you and they're like their early to mid 20s, and you try and compare yourself to them. And I'm just here to say you don't need to be comparing yourself to anybody but yourself. And when I say compare, don't compare yourself to anybody but yourself. Look at where you are now versus where you were before, also versus where you're going to next, you know, and look at everything you've done up to that point, you know. You can't look at what somebody else has and expect to get what they have because you're not them. My pops always said this thing. He always said, look at your hands, yeah? Look at your fingers. They're not all the same. So you cannot compare your thumb with your pinky, with your index finger, or any of the other fingers to get the same kind of result. Do you understand? They all do what they do because they're all individual and they all have their own purpose. And it's the same with you and everybody else. You're individual. You have your own purpose. You have your own gift. You have your own reason why you're here. There are certain things that only you can achieve the way you can achieve. There are certain things that only you can obtain the way that you can obtain them. I can't look at you and say I wish I was like you, and you can't look at me and say or compare yourself to me, because the way I've reacted to certain trials that I've had versus the way you reacted to certain trials you had are not the same. The way I deal with success and victory versus the way you deal with success and victory is not the same. The way I deal with loss and failure, the way you deal with loss and failure, it's not the same way. We don't react the same way. Therefore, we cannot compare ourselves to each other. I can look at you and be inspired by the things you have done, be inspired by your hard work, your commitment, the way you get your head down, the way you bounce back when you fail, the way you don't listen to anybody else, the way you focus on where you're going. I can look at that and be inspired by it. I won't compare myself to you because I'm not you. And you can't compare yourself to me because you're not me. This that I do is 7.5 years in the making and 2 years being active. Do you know what I mean? So I compare myself with where I was before now. And I also look at what I've done, the mistakes I've made, the things that I got right, the people that I've met along the way, everything that I've done along the way to this point. And I smile because where I'm going to, I've already visualized, but I don't even know that probably when I get there, I might have moved the goalpost anyway, because I'd have seen all the stuff that I've done so far, been over the moon about it, and just wanted to do more and more, you know. Comparing yourself from where you were before versus where you are now is so much more better because you see the journey you've been on and you see the experiences and you reminisce on the experiences and you reminisce on the journey and you smile or you cry, but you remember where you've been. When you're trying to compare yourself with everybody else and the things that you see outside, bearing in mind that that's their job, they're doing their thing. So what you're comparing yourself to, they do this, that's their thing. They do it in the way they know how to do it, the way they do it, the way they've been taught to do it. They do it the way they know how. And so they ain't doing it in your way, they're doing it in their way because it's them, right? So when you're looking at them, you're missing out on your process. You're missing out on all the things you've done along the way. When people ask you, how did you get to where you get, you can't even answer the question because you're comparing yourself to somebody else and it's unobtainable anyway. You ain't getting there. So when you're not getting there, you're thinking yourself into a depression, you're beating yourself up, you're halting your own success, you're stunting your progress, you're at a standstill or you're walking around in circles because you comparing yourself to something that you can't get because you ain't them. It's not a bad thing. I'm not cursing you, I'm just speaking the truth. You compare yourself to yourself, the person you were before versus the person you are now. You will see what you've got that you didn't have before, and you'll be a lot more grateful, a lot more thankful, and you'll be a lot more motivated and desire to push to the next step. So this is just a sneak preview of what I spoke about. It was an hour-long conversation. So if you want to know more, join us next week so you can get the full deets. In the meantime, don't compare yourself to anybody else but yourself. Look at where you were, where you are, and where you're going. Do you understand? That's all you need to do. Anyway, like I always say, live your life one step, one rep at a time. Think strong, be strong. Impossible is nothing. Peace.